This is St Matthew's Anglican Church. It was built in 1838, and as you can see, it's a little bit wonky. Lovable, but wonky. Lexus used to have a car called the SC430. It was as wonky as this structure, except this one has an excuse. It's really old. The difference between the SC430 and the church is that's lovable. The SC430 was fat and it was ugly. This is the Lexus LC 500. A couple of years ago, they showed this as a concept car. And instead of faffing about and making it boring and putting it into production, they just put it into production.
The LC 500 is breathtakingly pretty. Almost everything is just right, from the mirrors and the amazing headlights to the exhaust exits. The 21-inch wheels are perfect and look amazing. Under that long bonnet is Lexus's 5-litre V8 producing 351 kilowatts, or 477 horsepower, and 540 newton metres. The active rear wing helps keep things stuck to the ground, and oh, just look at this interior. Stunningly built, beautifully trimmed, and apart from the dodgy multimedia system, everything is easy to use and lovely to touch. These door handles are spectacular. I was tempted to take one with me. They look superb and feel amazing. It's a stunning thing to look at, and you will never, ever get tired of doing so.
This car couldn't be any more different than that tub of lard. It's just so sharp. Like, just start with the grille. It's huge, but it doesn't actually look too big. And I love the Lexus grille. This is called the spindle grille. I don't quite know why they call it that, but let's just go with it. It's got this really cool 3D effect, and in this car, it just kind of expands as it goes down. That's a cool idea. I really like that. I like the way that they're willing to play with the design language. Yep, it's got a great big Lexus badge in the front. Headlights. Now, Lexus don't always get headlights right. If you look at the current IS, they're a bit anyway, much better. And this car, it's so sharp. The SC430 looked like a chipmunk with a face full of nuts that it actually smacked itself in the face while trying to eat those nuts. It was all just so wrong. And it was all kind of humped over the front, so it looked front-wheel drive even though it was rear-wheel drive. And ugh. Anyway, these 22-inch wheels, they look amazing. They don't ruin the ride.
Actually, they're 21 inches. I got a little bit carried away, but it's because I love cars. So if you like cars too and you enjoy these videos, please, please, please hit the subscribe button so you know when every new video comes up. Thanks for watching. Now, on with the show.
The great thing is the concept car feel hasn't stopped on the outside. It's even still going once you step inside. Now, there's no such thing as a bad Lexus interior. Let's get that straight. But this one, this is cool. Like, you got this big screen here with this really funky startup animation, which if you're not paying attention, makes you feel like the car's falling because of the way everything moves around on it. Maybe that's just me. But anyway, it's got, well, obviously it's got everything. It's got Lexus's own multimedia system, and the less said about that, the better. Because there's so much that's great about this car. I love the driving position. The seats are fantastic. They're so grippy and they feel good, but they don't pinch you or hurt you or, you know, kind of grab anything. So they're not like, you know, Harvey Weinstein. The wheel is small. The paddle shifters are magnesium. None of your plastic cheap nonsense that you get on some cars that should know better. Digital thing in the middle here, it's all digital, there's no analog dials, and it looks great. And of course, when you're changing modes, which you do here, and it scrolls through, it changes the way the dash looks so you know which mode you're in. And it's a Lexus, so everything is absolutely stunningly put together. I mean, the way Lexus builds a car, it's just extraordinary. And you know, the detailing, like the door pulls, and of course the leather's lovely, and there's leather everywhere. It's a lovely place to be. Now, some people will call a little bit old man. I don't agree. I actually really think this car has got, it's got something right. It's more, there's something in here for everyone. This colour, no, but, well, you know, you get a Lexus GS, it's quite an old man interior. It's very kind of drawing room, lounge room, you know, you expect a cigar to pop out of the dashboard, whereas this car, it does feel like a sporty car, particularly with these double grab handles here for the passenger, which I think is really funny. It's almost like one of those things to help you out of the bathtub, but it's not a difficult car to get in and out of if you're in the front seats. The back seats, they're a bit useless, but you can get people in there. If you ever need a laugh, my son, who's 6'2", he'll get in the back, but you'll have to pay him. But yeah, it's a great interior, but it doesn't stop there, because you put your foot on the brake, you press this lovely metallic stop-start button, and the V8 fires up. This V8 is really something. I mean, it's got a lot of weight to move. So this isn't the fastest gun in the West, not by a long chalk, but it just feels right for this car, you know? Like, I'd actually be disappointed if this had a twin-turbo V8 or twin-turbo V6 or something like that, and it would actually be disappointing because the character of this car is such that the mouth matches the trousers, if that makes any sense. So, you know, the way this looks, it would be disappointing if there was something characterless, and yeah, it would still be really fast and would have more torque and all of that stuff. But yeah, this car really works the way it is, you know, and I like that. And it really just sounds great. And unlike the ISF, which is the last V8 Lexus that I drove, this has a lot more character in the engine. It's, you know, pop and crack. It's not exuberant like, say, an Audi RS7, which is more than this, by the way, just while we're talking about these things, or at least they are in Australia. They may not be in other parts, but it's, again, the character is just right. It's not, it really does let the body of this car does all the talking. And, you know, this isn't a sports coupe, you know, like a 6 Series. It's, or, you know, like an M6 coupe. It's much more of a long-legged Grand Tourer, and you can tell. I mean, it's got a 10-speed transmission. That's 10 gears. That's a lot of gears, and it does occasionally get a little confused as to which gear it should be in, because there's so many to choose from. It's like being a kid at a gelateria. Which flavour am I going to choose? And that, although a kid's going to get paralysed with choice and then get a brain freeze, none of that happens in the car, obviously. That would be silly, and that's not a very good joke. But it does get a little bit confused, and I've had a couple of kathunks, but by and large, it's very well behaved, and it's a very good transmission, very smooth. When you've got 10 gears to play with, let's make them a little closer, can we? Because, like, this thing does a lot of it 0 to 100 or 0 to 62 in first gear, a lot of it. And I would have expected 2 shifts before then. And I would have expected a more closely stacked gearbox, because when you've got 10 gears, you want to be able to go whoop, 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 whoop. And that would really, again, change the character of the car, and I think would make it feel a lot more sporty. Now, there is a lot of tech in this car, and one of the pieces of tech that makes this car interesting is 4-wheel steer. Now, that's an option in some markets, and it's an interesting option because it really changes the way you might expect a large, heavy car like this to behave. So, when you're in sport mode, it's a very different experience to when you're in comfort or economy mode. Economy mode. That's funny. Yeah, so it's quite a different experience to that, and you're aware of that because you need so little lock when you're in Sport Plus. I noticed that when I was writing a review for Cars Guide for the GSF, the way it really changed, because it had four-wheel steer as well. The feel of the car really changes when you've got four-wheel steer, and the gearing is sped right up. So there's very little play at the straight ahead, and there's very little, there's no slack, and the way it changes direction kind of does defy the weight of this car. It takes a bit of getting used to, and at low speeds, of course, the wheels turn in the opposite direction to the fronts, because at high speed they'll the kind of speeds I'm doing now, it helps you flow through the corners in a really easy manner, and it just keeps the rear kind of tucked in towards the corner towards the direction of the corner. So when you slow it, this thing turns around in not very much space at all. I mean, there are hatchbacks that will not get around in the space this car will get around. So if you've got the extra cash, do get the all-wheel steer, because it gives you this, the agility of the car is really quite impressive. It's so unexpected. It's such an unexpected pleasure, this car. I was expecting a soft GT car, and which is what you get when you're in comfort mode. Absolutely you do. But it's also got this harder edge to it up here in Sport Plus, which I'm genuinely excited by. It's really great fun to drive. It's so good. It's just it's a really good experience, this car. And I bet owners absolutely adore their LC 500s. I bet they absolutely adore them, because every time they get in, it's fun, it's exciting, I'm really taken with it, actually. My wife loves it too. She reckons we could have one. Which kidney will I sell? The Lexus LC 500, it's different. And it's not just different for Lexus, it's just for the whole market. Yeah, there are cars a bit like it, but there aren't many full-on proper GT cars left, because GT cars are a bit like whitewater rafting in winter. They seem like a good idea, but it doesn't always go the way you want it to. Lexus is taking a big risk with this car because it is so wild looking. It's not part of their core kind of buyer demographic, but they're selling anyway. But of course, for me, for a guy who's driving lots of fast cars, to tell you all about them, this is really quite something I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting it to be as much fun as it is, because it's quite heavy. There's a lot of electronics in it. There's a lot of stuff by wire. And while it's not a raw kind of experience, it's fast, it's fun, and it looks amazing. And that's what cars like this need to do. They need to keep you smiling. And when you park it in your garage or in your driveway, or even park it at the shops, you want to turn around and look at it and go, that's cool. This is a properly cool car.